What's up, friends? College Essay Guy here. If we've never met before, I'm the author of College Essay Essentials, which is the #1 book on college essays, and I hope that's still true when you watch this video. Today I'm going to share with you 9 mistakes that I see students make in their essays all the time, and I promise not to scream at you the entire time. Hope you enjoy. Number 1, students oftentimes will choose a common topic, they'll make common connections, I'll explain that in a second, and they'll use common language. And that's a surefire way to blend in. What do I mean? A common topic, they'll write about basketball, common connections, how it's taught them hard work, discipline, and perseverance. And then they'll use common language like, teamwork really does make the dream work, or, that's how I realized the true meaning of leadership. Instead, choose an uncommon topic, when possible, make uncommon connections, and use uncommon language. Let's say, for example, you don't even have an uncommon topic. You've got basketball to write with. Well, those uncommon connections are going to be all the more important. I want to learn how basketball's taught you the value of healthy boundaries. Or I want to learn about how basketball's taught you the value of democracy. Or better yet, when you shouldn't value democracy, when in fact you need to just take it to the rack, right? Take it to the hole. You don't need to actually listen. Anytime that you can, in those connections, sort of subvert conventional wisdom, that's going to help your paragraph stand out, and it's going to help your essay stand out. Just to recap, not common, uncommon topics, uncommon connections, uncommon language. Second mistake that I see students make a lot is they stick to the first topic that they pick. Let's say, for example, they were, doing something in their English class, and they're like, ooh, this would be an interesting idea, and they write on this, and then they write 2 drafts and 3 drafts, and they're 9 or 10 drafts in, and they're like, I can't change my topic. I'm already 9 to 10 drafts in. In economics, this is called sunk cost bias, which basically means that you love the things that you've spent a lot of time with. Basically, what I'm saying to you is I've seen students write brilliant essays really fast when they found a new topic that suddenly allowed them to explore other parts of themselves. Quick example, a student that I met this year basically spent 8 or 9 drafts trying to write about her relationship to her emotions, but it wasn't quite working out. So in conversation with her, I was like, does this feel like it's your best topic? She's like, I don't think it's working. I was like, you want to try something else? She's like, yeah. She hit on a new idea, and then tra-la-la! She found the new topic that suddenly allowed her to explore all these different parts of herself. It was a montage, which I'll talk to you about shortly, and it was a beautiful essay. Another mistake I see students make all the time is they are writing about a challenge, which can be a good thing, but they oftentimes focus only or mostly on the challenge, and they don't put enough energy into answering so what. What colleges are really interested in is how did you metabolize the experience, which is to say, what did you do about it and what did you learn? If you want a simple word budget for this, rather than thinking of it as 500 words on the challenge and 150 words on what you did about it, instead, split your essay into 3 parts, right? Part 1, here's the challenge I faced and the effects on my life. Part 2, there should be a turning point. What did you do about it? If you can, how did you work to get the needs that weren't getting met based on your challenge? And then finally, what did you learn through the experience? How did you metabolize it? What was the impact on you and potentially on others? If you want to go more in depth with this, the feelings and needs exercise, which you'll find at a link below this video, will help you walk through a simple 15-minute exercise that by the end of it could help you outline your entire personal statement. So another thing that I see students do a lot is they try and force a narrative when a montage might work better. Let me define those. A narrative essay tells a story where the events are causally linked. My girlfriend broke up with me, I got sad, I sat in my room for a week, and then I came out. That's a narrative story. Not a great college essay, by the way. A montage is jumping around in space and time and talking about lots of different parts of you, right? So it's I'm curious, and I love working with my hands, and I love helping others. All this has led me to want to pursue this type of career, right? Sometimes students choose their biggest challenge that they've ever faced, maybe a bad grade they got, or the parents' divorce is pretty common, and they try and force that essay and make it work. Why? Because I think oftentimes students see a great essay that's written on challenges and they think, oh, I want the reader to have the kind of cathartic experience when they read my essay that I had when I read that essay. So they'll pick their biggest challenge and try and force it to make it work. Oftentimes though, if they can kind of let that story go and move to more of a montage, and I'll tell you how to do it in just a second, suddenly there's freedom. You don't have to worry about going super deep. You can actually go super wide and talk about lots of different parts of you. Now, how do you do this? It starts with great brainstorming. And if you click the link below, you'll find some great exercises to how do you brainstorm lots of different parts of yourself. And go wide with a montage. In order to make all those parts connect, you're gonna need something that I call a focusing lens. A focusing lens is simply a thematic thread that connects all the details that you want to share with your reader. Another mistake I see students make a lot is they put a thesis at the start of their essay. Sometimes even the word essay confuses students because they think, this is the thing that I'm supposed to write for English class, where I put my thesis at the start and then give supporting evidence. You don't necessarily have to do that for your personal statement. For your personal statement, I think, in fact, your thesis can go at the end. Or not at all. It can be implied what the main point is that you want the reader to get. Now, I think it is important to have some sense in your mind of like what the story is that you want to tell, but you don't necessarily need to make that explicit. Also because that kind of ruins the ending of your story. Imagine that you're watching a movie and it's about like a guy who wants to grow up and become a doctor. And at the beginning, the first thing he says to us is, I've always wanted to be a doctor. Let me tell you why. It's like, well, we know how this is going to end. Another mistake students make is that they try to pack absolutely everything into their personal statements as though like this is the only conversation that they're going to have with the school. Your personal statement is a conversation that you're going to have with the reader, but there are other parts of your application where you can talk about things like, for example, that cool experience that you had in the debate tournament, or why you got that bad grade in physics, or why you switched schools. So what are those opportunities? The activities list. That's where you can do all your bragging. So you don't actually need to necessarily brag in your personal statement. The additional information section. That's the place where you can talk about any extenuating circumstances, any health issues, that sort of thing. So you don't have to waste that time in your personal statement. Another mistake that students often make is that they don't spend enough time on their supplemental essays, especially their why us essay. Now for some schools, their why us essay is even more important than the personal statement because they're trying to figure out, would this student be a great fit for our campus or not? Keep in mind that your why us essay is not something that's going to come from your brilliant, beautiful brain. It's actually a research essay. So you're going to need to spend a couple hours figuring out what it is about that school that you love and how it connects back to you. Here's a simple way to organize your research. Like fold a piece of paper in half, or on a Google Doc, just create 2 columns, and in one, label it stuff I have, and in one, label it stuff they have. Make a list of all the things that you want to show to the college, and then make a list of all the opportunities available on that campus, and then spend your paragraphs in your why us weaving back and forth between what they have and what you have, what they have, what you have. Make the case that you and the school are a perfect match. Related to the why us, please, dear God, don't screw up the name of the school colors, or the mascot. I know this seems kind of petty, but like saying that you love red and yellow and that's why you want to attend USC might kind of put them off. Why? Google the USC colors and you'll see why. It's like coming up to someone's dog and being like, oh my gosh, I love your German Shepherd. And they're like, oh, it's actually a Belgian Malinois. And you're like, oh. Don't give the school any reason to put you in the no pile. Finally, waiting till the last minute. I mean, I know this is obvious, but please don't do it. Here's a quick timeline. Hopefully maybe get a why us and maybe an extracurricular essay done over the summer so that when you're getting into fall, you're not suddenly just starting the process. When you're in the fall, you're gonna be swamped with like your most responsibilities in your classes, maybe you're retaking standardized tests and so much more. Try and get as much as you can done over the summer. That's what I got. Thanks for listening. If you want more tips, check out collegeessayguide.com. If you liked this video, give me a little thumbs up and you can subscribe by clicking below and you'll get videos all the time. Peace.